Dude, what a game. I love a I love a rock fight, fellas.
Yeah, that's a nose guard game.
There was a point where I turned to Meg before the half and I was like, nobody's scoring. I took the alt line under 34.5, and it was like, no chance it's hitting 34. Dude, that was
No chance.
I mean, when you looked at the script to start the game, I think, and partially Green Bay coming out with that same kind of super conservative approach. They go 9 plays, like 3 yards at a time. I think the Eagles then were solidified in the thinking that, hey, this is a game where we're going to be less aggressive. Possessions are going to be at a premium. They're going to be longer possessions. Now, that didn't turn out to be the case because both teams went 3 and out a few times. But I thought right at the start, it kind of defined the whole game. And the Eagles really only needed 2 drives in the second half. That's all it was. They fumbled on the first drive. It was like a 16-play drive, and they fumble in the red zone.
Yeah.
But I guess the biggest takeaway, guys, out of this game is like the Eagles defense got better with the addition of Jaelan Phillips. I thought he was fantastic. He's so high energy. He plays in every phase. He sets an edge. He caused that first sack of the game, which was a huge sack because it put Green Bay behind the sticks and forced them to come up with nothing.
No, he was sick, dude. The immediate impact, like come to a new team. Obviously, he's familiar with Vic's scheme and everything like that, but it's not easy to come to a new team and immediately like start and be the guy. And he had 8 pressures, 5 defensive stops, almost 20% pressure rate, and then that fumble recovery you mentioned. But dude, there were so many guys on defense that I was impressed with. It feels like coming out of the bye, all of a sudden the Eagles have all these edge rushers. Getting Nolan Smith back. I thought Hunt has been playing really well
Hunt
too.
turned into a really good player.
Yeah, he's nice, man. He's really good.
Did you see Nolan Smith take 2 on the pullers? There were two pullers, and he just bowling pinned them.
Yo, it's so funny you bring that up, Chris, because if you guys remember in the playoff game against the Packers,
Did the
when
same
Nolan Smith
fucking
obliterated
Yeah.
that guard.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that guard was kind of bracing for an
He was having
impact up top.
flashbacks mid-rep.
He'd been saving that counter punch for a while. But,
Yeah, exactly.
and Beau, I know you might be going here, but Ajomo was maybe one of the best players on the field.
That's what I was
know
going to say.
We were looking at Phillips a lot, and yeah, he got a lot of credit because he called out the 4th and 1 play at the end of the game. Like they picked him up on the telecast, inside zone this way.
Yeah.
You could tell he's a smart fucking player.
Mhm.
But he's exceeded the expectations in playing that Milton Williams role.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
if Milton Williams got paid, this guy, when it's time, is going to get paid as well.
And he's a late round pick, right? Like he wasn't a
Yeah,
top,
he's a late round guy.
he was like a 5th or 6th or something like that. I guess I'd have to look it up, but I always have a soft spot for those guys. Chris, come on, a smart guy who's a late
He was
pick.
the 7th rounder, and he's under contract 1 more year. So
Yeah. I
He's
mean, I'm
gonna get
looking at
paid.
his stats. He only had 2 QB hits, but like he played really well. Like did a really good job, obviously recognizing that last play. And then you see him quick swim the guard on that. It was like basically base blocking him, and then running back had to bounce it all the way out. And I mean, it was a defensive game, man. And that's kind of what you get in Green Bay this time of year. It was windy, it was fucking cold. I kind of liked it though.
Dude, I liked it, but I don't like it because you're looking at 2 offenses that, quite frankly, right now are struggling. And we can spin it any way we want to. The Eagles won that damn game. We said coming in it was an Eagles spot. We said it was an under, so we nailed that stuff. But I do have a dog in the fight, and it is the Eagles. But I would be bullshitting you if I thought I was excited about the way the offense looked. And that's nothing new. It's up and down. But honestly, there are some parallels in these 2 situations, and they're different in that the root causes are different. But these 2 coordinators don't have a feel. And the one of them, he's a head coach in this league for a while now, and he's got his quarterback. And I know that they have some weapons missing outside and that sort of thing, but I just thought their offensive game plan, and I harped on it last week, is so dog shit. And I didn't think Love played well early in this game. But also, how do you expect him to get into a rhythm if your first down run, your second down run, and then you get in third down and it's pass? That's kind of the script that they followed. And it culminates with Moro Jomo knowing exactly what the fuck you're going to do on 4th down. I thought coming out in the second half, they used more play action, and the pieces around him let him down a little bit, but that doesn't excuse the poor play and the poor game plan. And I thought the Eagles were fittingly conservative. But when you look at the way Jalen played in the first half, now, as usual, he made the big throws down the stretch, but we might not even need to be in this situation if you have a better game plan in the first half. I want to make it as much about Halfley though too, because I thought Halfley and Fangio were just way ahead of these coordinators. I thought Halfley had a great game plan. They're playing zone. They're barely going to be in man-to-man. We always talk about when you play this quarterback, when you play this offense, play zone. They played a lot of three. Evan Williams is a knife on early downs. He's going to be down in the box making plays. Eagles took too many negatives in the run game.
Yeah, I
And,
mean, little miscues in the run game that were really frustrating, like false starts. You see the one where Jordan, who's a great athlete,
Flip.
like he's pulling and he slips, and then Saquon's just kind of sitting behind him for a second. And you're just like, "Fuck, man."
Well, that's the surface, and then consecutively back there towards the goal line, they had a screenplay on the next play, and Saquon falls down. But
Yep.
I thought at least if you're looking at Patullo and his performance, I thought in the second half, I'll say this, they made some adjustments. They got a lot of cover six early. And like I would play cover six against the Eagles. Because it's a zone look
It's a
and it's a
zone,
little
yeah.
bit confusing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit confusing, right? Pre-snap. And I thought that coming out of the half, they pulled that hook player up twice and put it behind him. And I thought those were scheme calls. And that to me was like, and they were play action. Like the play action was not affecting Green Bay's front seven at all in the first half. Guys were barely moving off spots. Whatever they did in the second half to get an increased return on investment with play action, that was a lot better. And I thought scheming those things up out of the half, you only needed 2 drives. And the one thing that the Packers are going to want back is, and I said they barely stayed in man, and they really didn't get hurt in man. They got hurt in man when Quay Walker dropped Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like when you're playing a game like that.
I think that was the longest play of the game, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
One mistake like that fucking kills you, and you get the explosive, and then the next play they pull up McKinney. And I think it was cover 4 Mina Kimes. Was that a Mina Kimes
Deep
cover 4
shot, cover
beater
4.
over the top? But they pulled McKinney up with the presence of A.J. Brown, and then they hit Devontae behind him. So, again, Jalen Hurts made some big plays. The scrambles were big.
Yeah.
I loved everything about Green Bay's game plan, Beau, except for the rush plan. I thought at times the rush plan was a little sloppy.
I was watching it in the first half. Like there was a point in time where they had Micah Parsons as a 3 technique, and then Rashawn Gary on the edge. And this was before Lane went down. And I was like, God, that's just a fucking nasty lineup. But that was the one where Jalen escaped out of the pocket to his throwing arm and ended up hitting Shipley on like 3rd and 10. And it was a huge play. I mean, that was really well executed by him. But to me, it's like, what you're saying about the rush plan, everyone knows that Jalen loves escaping to his throwing arm. And a guy like when you have Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons on the same side rushing, it's a double-edged sword because those are 2 guys where you want to be like, all right, pin your ears back, go win your rushes. But at the same time, you need to know, like, we need to keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket, especially if you're going to flush him, like make him flush away from his throwing arm. So that was kind of one that you mentioned. But I mean, talking about Green Bay's rush plan, obviously they have, some real weapons on their edges with Gary, with Micah Parsons. Lane went down. I feel like I was actually pretty impressed with the way Fred Johnson stepped up and kind of, just kind of held the tide, and then Lane came back. And did you see Lane's gif that he posted after the Undertaker?
Yeah, he did the Undertaker, dude.
Fucking great.
God, I'm gonna have gray hairs, dude. My kids are awake. They love Lane. He goes down. My wife's, everybody's watching, and it's just like, oh no, it's not.
Yeah, I texted you. I was like, fuck.
But it was, and I thought the way he got up, it was going to be a bad deal. Hats off to him. I don't know what the injury is, but the toughness to come back out there, to want to be out there, and then on 4th and 6, which was an absolute dog shit call at the end of the game. Like, what the fuck are we smoking, Nick?
I want to talk this through.
Nick got a hold of my stash. But the point I want to make is they got Lane singled up on Micah Parsons on that bad ankle. So again, like, you want to talk about the best on the planet. That dude is incredible, and Fred Johnson deserves a lot of credit. He's turned out to be a very valuable piece for them. It's a nice thing to have that guy in the building.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, I mean, you see Brett Toth standing in for Juergens too. I feel like they need to get Juergens back. But talking about this play, all right, so I was looking at Sirianni's press conference, and I want to find his exact quote, but he was basically saying that he was like kind of talking through it. And I was very critical of it last night. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And seeing him kind of talk about it made me understand it a little bit more. I don't know if you have that
What did
exact
he
quote.
say? I went to bed.
He's basically saying that, they're at what were they at, like the 38,
Well, they're
and
not gonna kick.
they're not going to kick
Yeah.
because the wind is in their face. And plus, even if they kick and make it, um, Green Bay can still drive down the field and score a touchdown to
Touchdown.
win.
Yeah.
I get that. And then I'm thinking, well, like, why not just punt the ball? And so I had Nolan look it up, and Braden Mann is 32nd in the league with pin punts, like inside the 20. You got that stat on,
Yeah, he only has 8 of them on the year, which is significant because we heard the broadcast how many times they pushed that stat of most 3 and outs in the league, so he's been getting a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And I
no
think,
question.
with the way the Eagles operate on offense going forward on fourth down so much, especially in, plus territory, like it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't have as many opportunities to pin opposing offenses in the 20. So I feel like that's kind of a factor too. And he had shanked one earlier that game. So I feel like all these things with the weather kind of combined to make Nick overthink it a little bit. And we're all pretty critical of that decision because it seems like a no brainer, like to me, I'm punting that.
I mean, listen, he makes a compelling point and everything, but at the same time, you had a chance to put the game away, and that's part of the problem is the Eagles have been running the ball pretty much like dog shit for most of the game, and part of that's because Packers stayed in base. They tried to keep the Packers heavy and run the football. They had extra tackles on the field and that sort of thing. Those guys did a good job. And so, like with 2:30 to go in the ball game, Packers have like 2 timeouts left. You think they'd run the ball, and so I am empathetic to not running the ball in that situation, but at the same time, like maybe get off the field so you don't have to go for it on 4th and 6. And if you're going to go on 4th and 6, maybe not I know that they've gotten a lot out of the shot
Right.
plays and
Yeah.
breaking
You don't need a
situations.
Super Bowl dagger, in
You
this.
Have a better
you've barely
concept.
gone to AJ Brown the whole day.
Like,
Right.
they're gonna heat you up, and because they're gonna heat you up, they're gonna be in man coverage. The concept was, like, you had, like, 2 sit routes over the middle. That's the easiest route to cover in man coverage and some shots in the boundary. And it's like, you need 6 yards, like,
Yeah.
that's the only idea.
There's no
Right.
hot.
No hot.
So, like, again, like we can say, hey, that's a very cutting edge progressive thing to do, Nick, is, for all the good reasons as you just laid out, but like, why is that the fucking play? Now,
Right.
they play with fire at the end of the game there, you take the shot to Watson, which I didn't agree, it was going to be a really hard throw to make.
Yeah.
The
It had a chance though, dude.
no, they had a chance. Here's where
Yeah.
they really had a
That
chance.
ball was in the air and I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Here's where they really had a chance. When they get tackled right short of that green line, right? And they gotta, bonsai and spike it. They leaked Musgrave out. Musgrave's gonna run for 25 yards and get out of bounds. Now that's nitpicky because I know he's looking at the end breaker in the middle of the field, but like late in the down, and there were also situations in this game where Jordan just didn't see it. There was a point in the second half where I believe he climbed the pocket and he's got Dobbs on like a post or something like that, and he doesn't even see him. Now the passing game, to his credit, I mean, the 4th and 9, if you're a professional receiver, you make the play. Wicks had a
Right.
bad drop in the second half.
Yeah.
Dobbs had a couple drops. Dobbs
Yep.
had a drop on an absolute dime that he dropped. So like Love was really bad, but there were also moments in this game where he was let down, and so I forgive him for pressing. The thing to me that's just really discouraging about this team is they continue to do things the same way and they get the same results. And it feels like it's driven by the head man. And at the end of the game, you're down 2 scores. I know they're playing more off coverage and that sort of thing. Like, but I wouldn't, they're running the ball from a bunch of condensed formations, right?
Right.
They're inviting support players into the box. They're inviting guys like Cooper DeJean into the box who's kicking guys' asses outside. So, like, I just don't think it's, you come into this game, and I talked about this last week, I'd spread people out. I know you got less weapons. It's kind of counterintuitive, but space is your friend. And, you see that in certain situations like that. The other thing is this. On 4th and 1, to me, the cardinal sin is it's not just predictable because, as Ben Solak pointed out, they've done that before, like in 2-minute situation. Look at the fucking corners. They are off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are off, both of them.
Yeah.
The two receiver side and the single receiver side, those corners are off. Pop that ball out to somebody.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a question with the offense too, is like, does Love have license to make that call at the line of scrimmage? I don't know. And coming back to your point about the game plan with the Packers earlier, Chris, I totally agree. Like, to me, the mystifying thing in this game was, we're coming off a couple weeks ago where the best we've seen Love look this season was the fucking 20 completions in a row against the Steelers when he was quick game, quick game, quick game. And even though they're down some receivers, you can still execute that stuff with the group you have. And this game was all these longer developing route concepts where and look, like, the reality is you go through the tape, like, I need 2 hands to count the number of reads that Love missed, like scheme
Mhm.
open throws that he's not taking, whether he's not trusting his arm, not trusting his eyes, whatever it is. So just not playing with confidence and, like, not playing with, like, I think he's similar to Baker in the sense of, like, he plays his best ball when he's playing aggressive, and the way to get that out of him is like you said earlier, get him in rhythm, get the
Yeah.
quick game going, and that's gonna give him the confidence to start
And
cutting it
I'm
loose.
wondering if
Dude.
Kraft going down is kind of one of the reasons that Jordan Love isn't feeling as comfortable. Like you
Well, no,
talked
yeah,
about the edge.
he's certainly not feeling comfortable, but I also this is a problem that's predated, these 2 weeks. And, to my point and to Nolan's point is fucking speed it up a little bit, maximize you're not going to get as many possessions, right? Like when you play the Packers, and teams know that because they're going to like look at some of these drives they've gone on that have come up empty. That's backbreaking stuff. If you're the Packers and you feel pretty good about your personnel. By the way, the offensive line's better pass blocking than they are
Yep.
run blocking. I said last night going to the game and watched the guards, they got whooped in some spots.
Yeah.
It just why you're a fucking run first team and you're facing 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12 all first half. That's totally ass backwards.
Mhm.
You literally run the football on first and second down to have 3rd and
And
manageable.
Jenkins getting hurt for the Packers was, that was a
Jenkins
little bit
getting
of that.
hurt sucks and everything, but we're not going to beat this thing to death. The Packers at this point, though, have a real problem because the trade they made a lot of sense. This defense is Super Bowl caliber, and I thought the corners played up last night. I thought Valentine played up. I thought Nixon played really well.
Yep.
He made a couple plays, the play in the flat on Goddard, the play on the dig when they went man. Like that's where they're hunting for Nixon on play action, and he did his thing. Valentine was running routes for Smitty, and that partially, was that little stop route where he comes over and motions over. Valentine almost picked it off twice in the flat, and so like if you want me to kiss your ass, if you want to hear like the Eagles' offense was great last night, I'm not going to do it because it was sloppy. It was sloppy for both offenses.
There was a point, though. Can I just interrupt there? I haven't mentioned this yet, and I want to. There was a point when the Eagles' offense was rolling, and that was just the opening script, right? I was
The script of the game.
I was
and
impressed
the
with
script
that.
coming out of the second half.
I mean, you have a 16-play drive. Jalen fumbled on the design quarterback run, which I actually thought was a great play and a great play call, especially I think it was like high red zone, right?
Yeah.
And that it's just you wish you could get into a rhythm like that during the course of the game, and that's I think where I get frustrated. Like it's a great opening script. Like where is that over the course of the game? Like where are the small adjustments to keep that kind of rhythm throughout the course of the game offensively for the Eagles?
We see time and time again with play callers that the script is your friend, right? Like you have some control over that, and then you're kind of in the deep end the rest of the half.
Exactly.
And you come out of the half and they have a good plan. Like I said, like, all right, they want to run cover 6. Like we're gonna pop this thing, we're gonna go play action, and we found a spot that we want to attack. Like, okay, I see some intentionality in that. But then the rest of the game, it just kind of feels like we're running plays. And I'm not gonna lie about that because you won the game. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the bigger theme though, when it comes to Packers is they're like approaching mutiny status, where it's like the motherfuckers on defense are going to be so pissed at this offense walking into the building and pissed at the head man. And this thing's going to just continue to unravel unless you change something.
You see a lot of frustration from LaFleur on the sideline too, which I think is a little atypical. Like he seems like a pretty calm guy. Especially compared to
Except
Nick
in Detroit last year.
Yeah. But you get what I mean. Like I remember seeing him kind of like throwing the iPad or whatever, and staring at me like, what the fuck? And I feel like that's indicative of Jordan Love leaving a lot of meat on the bone, like you said, Nolan.
Dude, I think the biggest thing is this, though. You looked at two of the best teams in the NFC tonight, or so we think, right? and I would put the Eagles up there because they found ways to win in every game, right? Like, that's whether it's been sloppy or inconsistent. Like, I can say I don't love the offense at times. I can say I don't love the problem they have at corner that wasn't taken advantage of last night. Like, we really didn't see Michael Carter in the game.
Yeah.
So they kind of stuck to what they've been doing. But I don't care who you are, whether you're a Packers fan listening to this or an Eagles fan listening to this. If you watch Seattle or the Rams play, they're playing at a different level. And so if you have aspirations of going somewhere, no matter who you were last night, you got to fix it.
I mean, the Eagles won, man, and I think they won on the back of the defense. So I want to just
No
talk about
question.
that. I mean, Quinyon Mitchell was fucking good last night. I think he only gave up like 2 receptions for 24 yards or something like
Real
that.
good man coverage snaps were really good.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
blanketing Dobbs on.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just he's fantastic. The whole defense is really good.
But
And
how good was it to see BG out there, dude? This is like year 16. I watched his first
PFL.
snap, and it's just a fucking bull rush.
PFL.
Could have seen that coming. Yeah.
So-
but yeah, I mean, with
yeah.
the Packers, man, obviously, you know, it seems like Twitter discourse around Matt LaFleur. There's a, you know, the seat heating up a little bit, and I was just curious what you guys think about that. I mean, I think as we've kind of talked through it, it's like ultimately the head coach is evaluated on the performance of the team relative to the talent of the roster. And we've talked this whole season about there's holes in this roster. Like, we've talked about guard play, we've talked about corner play, but this is a roster that's equipped to make a run in January. And so the roster's equipped to make a run in January, but the team isn't playing to that level right now. So I think that's where that frustration's coming from.
I think the Packers are a really good defense. I also think this, to your point, Nolan, there is a consideration when it comes to Matt LaFleur that, like, Jeff Hafley is going to be a head coach soon.
New York Giants, maybe?
Or maybe the Green Bay Packers.
Like a Doug Powell and Phil Jackson situation.
Yeah, we see this all the time where it's like, you know, if you're not sure about your head guy and it's that bad and you think the straw that stirs the drink, because he has been since he came on, is Jeff Hafley. If you love the guy, then that might expedite the conversation you're having with your front office about the head coach. And also, speaking of the front office, they did not extend Brian G. And, you know, I texted Nolan about that earlier, and Nolan brought up a good point. It's like, you know, obviously they don't want, I know they don't want to go into the last year of these guys' contracts without a deal. And, you know, this is the second to last year. So this is an inflection point.
Yep.
And so, yeah, the seat's hot.
Yeah.
You know, whether you like it or not, it just is.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the playoff picture real fast. So the last 2 wild card spots are the Bears at 6-3 and the Packers 5-3-1. The 49ers sitting in the 8th spot at 6-4. They finished with the Cardinals, Titans, Browns, Panthers, and then the Bears, Colts, Seahawks. The Packers have the Vikings twice, the Bears twice, Lions, Broncos, Ravens, Giants, and the Bears have the Packers twice, Vikings, Lions, Browns, 49ers, Steelers, and Eagles. There's a shot here for the 49ers to jump and get into one of those wild card spots with those 2 NFC North teams getting the other one. No,
I suppose. I mean, I think the Niners defense is such an issue.
Yeah, I'm calling on them.
They're not like the Niners aren't going away because the offense is competent, but it just feels like the defense. It's like I don't know if they can really overcome that.
Here's the big question I have is, like, from a momentum standpoint here, you look at the NFC standings. You just said this, Reed. I'm pulling them up on my own, but you know, look at the NFC North. Okay, you've got a guy who just took over play calling in Detroit. And we said, hey, hold your horses. It's Washington. You know, like, they have not been themselves.
Yeah.
The Packers are certainly not themselves. The Bears are the team ascending.
Best
Now,
rushing attack in the league.
I don't know if we believe in the defense enough or what have you, but you know, they're sitting there with 3 losses like the rest of these motherfuckers. And I think it's going to get interesting considering the Packers schedule that you just mentioned, right? And by the way, Detroit's got the Eagles next week. That won't be a walk in the park for either team.
No.
Yeah, Packers are going to go play in New York this week. You think that's an interim head coach game? and you've got that front four to deal with. Nothing's a cakewalk for them the rest of the way.
Yeah, I don't know about the NFC North, man. Like, obviously the Lions I feel very comfortable with. I just can't really figure out the Bears right now. And I feel like I'm a little more confident in the Packers to kind of figure it out than the Bears to like not fuck it up. But maybe that's just me kind of, looking at the talent on the Packers roster and expecting them to get it done. I don't know.
I think it's a wild card situation. I just, it's so hard to read right now. Coaching is so important in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think that's what you come down to, because you look at the Packers coming in the season, and at their healthiest, they were like the Monstars, because they had Kraft, they had Jaden Reed. You got to remember, they're also missing Golden in this game. They had been missing Wicks. Like, the passing game's off kilter generally. But like, coming into the season, that roster's fantastic. Well, they haven't played as well because the coach is underperforming, in my opinion, and thus so is the quarterback. Look at the Lions. You talking about scheme. They just took play calling privileges away from John Morton. It was that bad. Okay. The Bears, you had Ben Johnson. This team goes from one of the clown shows of the league to like, man, this offense is kind of fucking explosive. So this stuff matters. Coaching matters. And, I think sometimes we forget that, myself included. But over the course of a season, you can see one team ascending. And because of some of these other issues, like the Lions and the Packers are kind of stagnant.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Bears schedule. It might get interesting for them. I don't really know. I don't have a good feel for the North right now. I gotta deep dive into it.
Yeah. Funny thing last night, I put this in the group text, but I think my son's growing up. We were sitting there watching the game, and my son is like, he's fantasy football, all that stuff. So he needs Josh Jacobs. And funny thing, he like won and went to bed and then lost because he fumbled late because that fucking won. But,
welcome to the real world, buddy.
Yeah, he's 9 years old, and he's sitting there and he's like, man, Josh Jacobs is a beast. And my wife's over there, and she's got like Jonathan Taylor on her team. And she's like, well, he's not like Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's one of one. And Waylon goes, yeah, O-line 1 of 1. He goes, meanwhile, Josh Jacobs is dealing with this O-line, and he still gets the job done. O-line 32 of 32. And he goes to bed. He goes to bed, and Meg's like, does he know what he's talking about? And I'm like, it'd be a hot take to say that he's Jonathan Taylor, but he's got a point. Like, I don't know what kind of tweets he's reading, but like, legitimately, the Packers, that's what they struggle to do, is run block. And I'm like, where the fuck does he get this stuff?
He's just listening. He's got his ear to the door when you're doing these shows.
Yeah.
Maybe so, dude. That was crazy.
Wilder. That's great.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
he Al Michaels my wife. Al Michaels my wife.
I got a couple things I want to talk about, just random from the game last night. I kind of loved the black helmets with the black pants for the Birds. I don't know, something about it. Like, I feel like you see these alternate unis sometimes from teams, and it's like such a stretch. Like, it feels like so different from their typical unis, but I always liked wearing the blacks. Like, I feel like there was a stretch where we played like the Giants like Thursday night, and we had a Christmas game one year.
We did, yeah.
2016, that was awesome. We wore the blacks, but this seemed like a little change up, and I liked it. The black helmets kind of did it for me.
I think the Eagles could use another away alternate. I do, because the all whites are kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
The all whites kind of
wearing the all whites, bro.
I didn't. Well, you were
more that's the baddest I've ever looked.
You were more full body,
yeah. Like,
and like us guys who are skinnier, we want to wear the all whites. You know, because it makes you look a little bit thicker and more jacked. But
what we wore in 2017 when we played Carolina, remember that? I think that was a Thursday night game. Those were different. Those were good. I liked those.
Yeah.
But the standard all whites were tough on you, boy.
That was a Thursday night game. That was the game where it was like, this team's winning the fucking bowl. I remember that.
Dude, who'd we play when we played the Panthers?
Carolina, yeah.
Oh,
it was a short week. Like,
and
there's some whatever coming off that Sunday. I don't know if some guys were down or something, but that win was awesome.
Dude, I fucking dislocated my finger in that game. You see that?
Yeah.
Fucking popped it back into the sideline, then proceeded to dislocate it every single week for the rest of my life. Terrible.
That's the game I cracked my rib against Cam Newton. Motherfucker landed on me. I beat one of the Khalils, the one without the huge dick, and then
Ryan.
I kind of like gator rolled like Cam on top, and that was a big mistake. And the motherfucker lands on me. Hey, You got more from the game because I got one thing I wanted to show you guys.
I got one more thing, and that's just
Okay.
the end of the game sequence was just baffling, man. Like sometimes it's crazy to think that like the NFL is like the pinnacle of football, you know, with some of the decision making we see. Like we obviously talked about the fourth down like decision to go for it, and I immediately, it was like one of those things. I immediately logged on Twitter. I saw Chris's tweet, and then I'm like, oh my god, like this is just it. Then the kick, right, where he was short, and then the Green Bay brings the offense back out, burns the ball out of bounds. What's his name? McManus.
Yeah.
Comes out with absolutely no swag. He looks so dejected and hits the shittiest kick I feel like I've seen all season. And I was just like, this is fucking hilarious. Like,
Dude, it was like
objectively hilarious.
What's funny is it's like you've got a bunch of people love this product so much that they're like willing to jump through hoops to do the ESPN thing. We're all struggling with that. We finally turned the game on. Waylon's like he's got their remote. He's like, this is wrong. He's like, you can skip these ads. He goes, Dad, skip the ad. I go, Dad. I go, Waylon, you can't skip the ads anymore. They fucked us. So we download the app. There's no touchdowns in the first half.
Yep.
There's like it's bad ball.
What a great product. Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, we get that, dude. We get 4th and 6. And everybody's like,
and here we are talking about it the next day, dude.
No, I know, but that's the thing. Bad football sells too. Just like bad calls. There were a couple bad calls in the game, obviously. You know, they missed both teams on false starts on the sneaks. Also, they didn't just miss one leg whip. They missed a second leg whip. Rashawn Gary leg whipped as well on a run play. It was like some of these things I'm like, damn, dude, we can see them from home. Just put an official on the couch with me.
Dude, if there's one guy I don't want to leg whip it, though, it's Saquon. Like,
yeah, you might leg whip yourself.
That's how you fucking crack your leg in half, dude.
That's why they don't call that, because they're just like, man, you know, at
you
your own risk.
Yeah, that's your fault, buddy.
You get what you get. And also, I thought he showed some juice last night. I thought that was really good. I wish we had more to talk about with this game where we could big up the Eagles besides the defense, but there just weren't a lot of like offensive. There were the 2 big plays, and you know there were a couple good drives in there, but it just was, you know, more of the same, just up and down.
I mean, the thing I am like, if you think about it though, like that's a physical game, dude. And then you're going from that like cold weather game, and the Birds have the Lions next week, right? I mean, that's back to back
Sunday Night Football, I believe.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one.
Get in the facility this week today, boys. Get your shit right, because you're about to eat. Jordan Davis is about to eat fucking 30 double teams next week. Have fun.
Hey, I got the one thing to show you before we go. Reed, can you throw this up? Have you guys seen this? This Fran Brown thing.
Respect. I love how you play. Don't get used to this shit. I got you, coach. I got you, coach. I appreciate you, coach. I appreciate the intensity, coach. That's good. That's what it takes. Good job, man. Good job.
Had y'all seen that yet?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to explain it to you.
I'm just confused.
Michael Irvin, who's just at the game hanging out, he's basically like the Miami mascot and a fucking legend in my book. I got nothing bad to say about Michael Irvin. He's just hanging out. Fran Brown, who's the coach of Syracuse, who I used to really like. After the game, I guess Miami dusts him.
They lost 38-10.
And he walks up to Michael Irvin, and instead of being like, yo, nice to meet you, like big fan, he's like, hey, love your game. Don't get used to this shit. Probably squeezing his hand all hard. But this is where it gets good. Michael Irvin is an alpha. And what he did is he won the handshake. Throw that up again, Reed, and watch Fran's soul leave his body as Michael hangs on, smile on his face, and says, I appreciate the intensity, coach. That's what it takes.
I love how you play. Don't get used to this shit. I got you, coach. I got you, coach. I appreciate you, coach.
Step in.
The intensity, coach.
Look at Fran trying to get away.
He pulled his hand away so hard.
Fran
bro.
had to pull his hand away to dab somebody else up. Like, never mind. Let me dab up this other guy.
That's like going up to like Gilly the King and being like, "Yo, I love your music. Like, don't get used to this shit."
The third I appreciate you, coach, translates to I will fuck you up.
Yeah,
coach.
I appreciate you. As in, like,
I appreciate you, coach. I appreciate you, coach.
No, he said, "I appreciate your intensity," which is
I appreciate your intensity.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate your intensity.
That's
Chris.
incredible.
And that's what it takes is kind of like if you ever turn this thing around, that's what it takes.
That's money, dude.
Dude, and I got nothing bad to say about Fran Brown. Like to this point, I was like, man, I really like him, bro. Like, but that was to me, I was like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
I feel like he was just looking for somebody to like take his anger out on. It just happened to be Michael Irvin. He picked the wrong guy.
And I happen to just be a huge Michael Irvin fan. Like one of my favorite NFL players of all time from a personality standpoint. I don't care who Eagles fans, you might be mad, but he is every time you run into him, he's just a bundle of joy, bro. He's just the happiest guy in the world.
Yeah, I appreciate his intensity.
Unless you try to win the handshake.
Next time you see him.
Oh, I'm gonna tell him.
No. Just
I looked to see if I had his number saved in my phone to text him last night. That's how bad I wanted to like be like, yo, Mike, that was fucking sick. You alpha him.
That's an incredible clip.
Just great clip. All right. Anyways, that clip was more entertaining than last night's game.